Good evening, everybody. Welcome inside Cardinal O'Hara High School, the site of the Philadelphia Catholic League opener tonight between the LaSalle Explorers and the Cardinal O'Hara Lions. Bob Long, Chris Carabello alongside. Mike Gelati is on camera tonight. We got a good crew this evening at a great venue for high school basketball, and the Explorers being introduced right now. The starting lineups. It'll be a three-guard look for the Explorers, Chris. Alan Powell, Titus Beard, Jake Timby, with Zach Chrysler and Conrad Kiska in the front court. It's a lineup that we've seen a lot of this year, but here's where the rubber meets the pavement as it's Philadelphia Catholic League basketball time. The Explorers are 4-0, as are Cardinal O'Hara. Put up or shut up, both of these teams. This is the biggest part of the season as we embark upon Catholic League play.
Yeah, it's showtime, and we're here in Delaware County. Probably one of the nicest basketball courts in the Catholic League. So there's no excuses for lighting or the floor, and we're seeing the same starting lineup that we've had for the four previous games, a little smaller with Timby in the lineup with the injury to Jack Rothenberg. But there's still the two towers in Kiska and Chrysler, which other teams have had trouble matching up with thus far this season.
And Cardinal O'Hara dressed in white. I think they're going to have some trouble with that size as well. The starting lineups that were just announced, listen, they have a lot of talent, and they can stretch the floor. Solo Bombara at 6'6" is about their best answer to the 6'9" Chrysler and the 6'7" Conrad Kiska. But what Cardinal O'Hara can do really well, Chris, is shoot the basketball, run the ball down the floor, averaging between 75 and 80 points a game in 32 minutes of regular season action. It's led to 4 wins. And this is a team that under Jason Harrigan last year took a lot of steps forward. No longer with the program. Head coach Ryan Nemitz has come in and really taken over where Harrigan left off. And this is an up-and-coming program in the Catholic League. It's a good first test for the Explorers.
Yeah, the Explorers are going to see Cardinal O'Hara parked on the outside of that three-point line, and that's where they're going to have to do most of their defensive work.
Look at this. Cardinal O'Hara puts all 5 guys on their side of midcourt. I think they had an idea that Chrysler could win it. It actually was touched first by Bombara, and now we're underway.
Let's see how quickly the Explorers take advantage of the size in both Kiska and Chrysler against the smaller defensive opponents.
It's a man-to-man defense as Kiska gets it inside. Thought he was fouled across the wrist, no foul call. And here comes O'Hara with their first offensive possession of the game.
Again, the Explorers are going to have to look for Cardinal O'Hara to take the shots from beyond three-point line.
Given away by Ant Purnell, closely guarded there by Jake Timby. And a turnover for the Cardinal O'Hara Lions. But now with that stoppage, Chris, we get to see for the first time O'Hara's going to pick up full court.
And the Explorers have struggled with full court pressuring at times during the season. A couple times they've had to call timeouts to set themselves up and then get them to get themselves straight.
Kiska at the top of the key, hands off for Alan Powell. He's been dynamite all year. Doesn't hit it that time. And it's back to Cardinal O'Hara. Mentioned Powell, he has had a tremendous year thus far. The senior averaging 17 points per game, really the spark plug offensively thus far this season for the Explorers.
Yeah, coming off a 24-point performance against Constitution at Ben Franklin on Friday night.
Good move to the basket. Adrian Irving can't finish and given right back by the Explorers. Up and down the floor we go, no numbers. They had a guy inside only for a moment, but they'll reset. This is Trey Dinkins, the junior guard, averaging 15 points a game. Here's the long three, no good that time, and chased down by Zach Chrysler. We are scoreless here, Chris, a minute and a half in.
Twice earlier, the Explorers have tried to get into their offensive set. There we go.
Conrad Kiska given a lot of room, so he hoists it over the top. Good bucket to start things off for the Explorers. It's 3-0. Decent little crowd filing in here tonight to Cardinal O'Hara High School. Floater will go from Adrian Irving, scoring 11 points per game. The sophomore gets the Lions on the board.
Titus Beard having a little trouble getting it inbound. Kiska will take it up now.
And you wonder, Cardinal O'Hara, how do they get to 75 points? Of course, shooting, it's going to help as Kiska can't finish, but also creating turnovers as Alan Powell does the other way for the Explorers. Long over the top pass. Conrad Kiska, two-handed flush.
Yeah, nice look from Alan Powell on the steal.
Turnovers on both sides leads to transition. And the Explorers lead 5-2 with 5:20 to play in the first quarter.
There's been some sloppy play on both ends, both teams.
Dinkins with the handoff. And Dinkins is now going to get it back. Comes off the ball screen. Tough shot. And doesn't get it to go. Rebound down to Zach Chrysler.
He'll take it up across half court himself.
He's a big man with a lot of skills. He can shoot the three. He can dribble the ball. Look at that entry pass. Really nice from Alan Powell to Conrad Kiska. Does all the work ahead of time there, Chris.
And that's exactly what we talked about earlier, that O'Hara's going to have trouble defending against. Without Bombara in there, there's no one to stop Kiska from going to the basket.
Foul called as number 2, Adrian Irving, goes to the basket.
Yeah, Titus Beard got a lot of ball, but he also got a lot of body.
Adrian Irving, the 6-foot sophomore guard, averaging 11 points per game. The other thing of note, Chris, for this Cardinal O'Hara team, Jason Harrigan, in many ways, started a youth movement with this program, and that youth movement continues here under Ryan Nemitz. There is not a senior on the roster. Irving is a sophomore. Dinkins is a junior. Bombara is a sophomore forward at 6'6". Purnell is a sophomore guard averaging 14 points a game. There's a lot to look forward to for this program. Explorers lead 7-4. Conrad Kiska with patience, looking to get it inside, and does on the baseline. Spins into a double team, nearly loses it. Good footwork and finishes off the glass.
Very patient, and that was great persistence, great patience on the part of Zach Chrysler.
I agree, able to keep possession of that basketball. I wasn't sure why he was slipping baseline at that point, but still had the capacity to turn it back to the inside and open that up with a good pump fake. Good rebound down low, up and good. And that's Solo Bambara. He's wearing number 32 tonight, listed as 22 on the roster. Bambara listed at 6'6". I don't know that I see that. He's more in that 6'4", 6'5" range maybe, but gets in there amongst the trees.
Yeah, that's a generous 6'6".
By contrast, Conrad Kiska is listed at 6'7".
Yeah, and they're nowhere near each other in height.
Inside they go again. Double team comes quickly. Ill-advised pass. Here comes O'Hara the other way, all the way to the bucket. Dinkins off the glass. That won't go. Loose ball corralled by Irving. And they will reset. Tell you what, if nothing else, this O'Hara team isn't afraid. Dinkins brought that right into the teeth of the traffic and almost finished.
They're scrappy, and they're getting a lot of second chances.
Bambara.
For a team that's outsized, they're getting a lot of offensive boards.
Ant Purnell right over the top. That one's good, and it is tied at 9.
Well, they were eventually going to hit one.
It's a 7-2 run for Cardinal O'Hara to tie things up at 9 with 2:41 to go in the first quarter. Explorers patient, get it into Zach Chrysler, and it's taken away from him. He got clocked in the face. Now a low pass picked up by Titus Beard, and a timeout called by Mike McKee. It's a good timeout call. I'll say this, either that referee's call was late there, Chris, and it was while Titus Beard was on the ground, or the referee granted that timeout while that basketball was in the air, one or the other.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good stoppage by McKee. 9-9, 2:27. You're starting to acquiesce to Cardinal O'Hara's pace, if we're honest here. So I think this is an opportunity to get things back together and run that half-court set, get everybody right back in the frame of mind that you need them.
Yeah, you're playing at their pace. You're playing at their level. And at the points when they were dominating here in the first quarter is when they were getting the ball inside, and they're not doing that. Although Chrysler was hit there in the face, why the foul wasn't called unless they called it incidental contact. They did grant McKee the timeout, though. So
Cardinal O'Hara will go full court pressure. with Adrian Irving garbing the basketball with his back to Titus Beard.
Now Khalil Diarra into the game for Zach Chrysler.
Khalil Diarra is an offensive rebounding machine for this Explorer team.
The other thing we noticed about him the other night, or discovered about him the other night, is an excellent passer.
He has
He
great
threw
court
some
vision.
great passes the other night.
Well short on the three-point shot.
Not sure he's a great three-point shooter.
It was right on line, just a little short.
Had good rotation.
2:06 to play.
It was a wide open shot. Maybe you have to take that, but
It was also a good look to the winger on the outside, Titus Beard, as well. From a passing perspective, we talked about his vision. Good hands in the passing lane that time from Titus Beard. Knocks it into the LaSalle bench.
Khalil Diarra, a standout football player, started at wide receiver. Did a nice job for the Explorers this year.
Good slip to the hole. Bambara off the glass and good. And a little miscommunication between Khalil Diarra and Alan Powell as Diarra went for the hedge. And Alan Powell stayed right with the man coming off the curl. Left Bambara all alone. And Cardinal O'Hara plays straight out of University of Pennsylvania's playbook, who absolutely dissected Villanova last Tuesday night at the Palestra at about this time with that type of offense. Now Sam Brown into the game, Chris. I know you like what this kid brings to the table, the true freshman.
He brings some great athleticism.
Good look inside. Conrad Kiska, no good, but he's fouled, and he'll shoot two at the line. And Kiska's had the most success of any Explorer on the block at the post-up position tonight.
Yeah, that's the second on Trey Dinkins.
Good end-over-end spin that time from Conrad Kiska. The senior for the Explorers has had a very good career. Has had some periods where he's been injured, but when he's been in there, he's been absolutely dynamite. He's going to the university, I should say Princeton University, as that were, in the Ivy League. And hits both to tie this game up at 11 with a $1:28 to play. In a fast-moving first quarter, Bob Long, Chris Carabello, your play-by-play team here this evening. Mike Gelati on camera. And you see Ryan Nemitz yelling tempo to this team right now, and that's a good look from the outside. No good, and Sam Brown brings down the rebound. Beard with patience. Kiska at the top of the key. Have a mismatch inside with DR. They go over the top. Good catch. Feeding it right back to Titus Beard. No good, and the rebound brought down impressively by Bambara.
It was a nice look, though, by Titus Beard. It was a wide-open shot.
Good two-man basketball.
Again, Diarra finding the open man.
33 seconds left. Cardinal O'Hara tied here on their home floor, content to take the last shot of the first quarter. Conrad Kiska guarded out near the logo, and he's guarding Trey Dinkins. We're down to 11. Court is spaced out. Now here comes Bambara on the high ball screen. There's a switch. Dinkins pulls up and hits it in the final seconds of the first quarter and gives O'Hara a 3-point lead, 14-11. Little shake, rise and fire. And give the junior guard a lot of credit on that one, Chris. Not much you can do if you're DR on that one.
Not at all. They got the switch, but even then it was still good defense.
After 8 minutes, it's 14-11. Cardinal O'Hara, and a good one, the Philadelphia Catholic League opener right here on Bob Long Sports. Simulcasting live on the LaSalle_Sports Twitter handle. You can find us on YouTube as well, with an archive of all the games we broadcast this season. How about this? Just off camera here, Chris, we got a full drum line. Mike, I don't know if you can grab a shot of that. You might think more of a football thing, but alas, your eardrums will tell you differently here at O'Hara's gym.
And it is a drum line. They're marching band drums.
Chalk that up to something I didn't expect. Pretty good, too. This portion of today's broadcast brought to you by our partners at Dunphy Ford in the Northeast. Visit them at 7700 Frankfort Avenue, dunphyford.com. Big part of why we are doing what we're doing and able to come on the air, give you our scoreboard view, get a second camera involved. So appreciate Kevin Dunphy, all his sponsorship. And if you're a member of the LaSalle community, give it forward, pay it forward to a good LaSalle family and all that they do for LaSalle athletics. Alan Powell, good hands in the passing lane. Ends up in the hands of Ant Purnell. And another good steal. Here's Conrad Kiska. Look out below. And Conrad Kiska tipped that ball. He knew it right away. Just going to give him a warning. Delay of game warning as per the public address announcer. It's 14-13 Cardinal O'Hara. Great steal there by number 1, Alan Powell. And we mentioned him being the spark plug offensively. He can get it started defensively as well, even when it's not him rewarded on the other end. Irving. Now a baseline drive and a blocking foul called against Zach Chrysler on the drive from Momo Cortu.
And that's something that the Explorers have worked on all year, where they're trapping people along the baseline, trying to draw the offensive foul. They weren't going to get the charge there. Chrysler picks up the block instead.
Reeves with the inbound off the foot of Zach Chrysler, and it'll stay here. Two team fouls apiece. Good look from the foul line, and it's good from Ant Purnell. And the Explorers just got caught on an on-ball screen there, Chris. Here's Titus Beard. Ball screen comes from Alan Powell, and now Conrad Kiska able to get it off to Zach Chrysler. Can't finish on good two-man basketball. Conrad Kiska will shoot 2 at the line again. And Conrad Kiska this year, I mean, even when he was coming up and giving quality minutes as a sophomore, you knew that his best attribute is his ability to cut and slash to the basket with or without the basketball. He's a guy that's going to earn himself a lot of trips to right here this year.
And I think that's why he's attractive to a place like Princeton. They're going to run an offense that can send him to the line.
And I like to think an education might have attracted him to Princeton as well. Congratulations to him, his family, and everybody that supported him on this road. That's a great opportunity at a wonderful world-class institution. That one goes around twice and down.
Bob, you brought up the early injuries. Sophomore, junior year, he had some injuries, but you could tell then that he was a player. And those injuries hampered him. There was points in time where he was out 4 or 5 weeks.
I mean, there were times his sophomore, even freshman year in limited action, you could tell he was the best athlete on the floor. A bump that time, Manny Frere called for his first personal, team's third. Jake Timby will come into the game, replacing Sam Brown. (16-14) Cardinal O'Hara, a 2-point lead here on their home turf. Philadelphia Catholic League opener. Trouble with the handle, recovers and blocked there by Zach Chrysler, pinned up against the backboard.
But again, there's a place where the Explorers, O'Hara gets a second chance. O'Hara gets the rebound off the block.
Here's Ant Purnell. They'll reset the offense. Jameel Burton, extra pass to Kevin Reeves. Core 2 for 3, back iron no, and Conrad Kiska an uncontested carom. Chrysler doing work down low, wants the basketball. Good front defense that time by Core 2. He is physical down there. Zach Chrysler goes through the legs, spins inside, thought he took an extra step, no call, and the rebound down to Cardinal O'Hara, and a subsequent foul.
That'll be the second on Chrysler.
Maybe you wanted the travel call there if you're an Explorer. Second personal on Chrysler. He will come to the bench with 5:35 to play in the second quarter. And Chrysler certainly has that in his game, Chris, but maybe a little bit too much individually there. With the floor space, an opportunity with a second defender crashing on you, find the open man there. Court 2 sets a screen. Burton.
Particularly at a point when you in the game where you need the basket.
Explorers stay in the man. Patience here from the Lions of Cardinal O'Hara dressed in white. Wild shot won't go. Brought down by Conrad Kiska up the floor. Good move by Alan Powell.
Nice pass from Kiska, but a beautiful move by Alan Powell to tie this game up.
That was really something. 16 apiece, 4:46, a good one here in the Philadelphia Catholic League. We've been waiting a long time, Chris, for Philadelphia Catholic League basketball to come back, and a foul called inside. Might go against, yeah, it'll go against Khalil Diarra.
Yeah.
It was him or Frere. Would have been Frere's second. It's only Diarra's first personal, 5th team foul. Dinkins, the team's leading scorer, hits the first, 17-16. Cardinal O'Hara, 1-point lead.
Now, this is a very different lineup for the Explorers. This is clearly the smallest lineup the Explorers have put on the floor all season.
You wonder if that has anything to do from a defensive standpoint. Now, of course, Chrysler sits with 2 fouls. Diarra has the 1 foul there. But very much like we see in the NBA and in college, small ball, and testing the big men's ability to guard on the perimeter. And now the keys to the car being given to the freshman Sam Brown from a point guard perspective. 5 guards on the floor. Powell spots up and hits for 3. Good screen there by Timby, opens up to point guard Powell, and he drains it.
Now, here's where we're going to see where the matchups are, where we're clearly going to have the smaller, quicker, more aggressive players.
Explorers lead by 1 once again. Dinkins spots up and fires in and out. Rebound off the foot of Cardinal O'Hara and back to LaSalle.
They lose some size with their ability to rebound, but when they box out, they're going to be faced with situations like that where going to go off an O'Hara player, and they're going to get the ball.
Well, and you see what LaSalle is trying to do defensively, very similar to what Michigan tried to do against Villanova last year in the national championship. Just put 4 guys out on the outside as Titus Beard hits the 3. Good dribble drive and kick.
Back-to-back threes from the Explorers.
And there's a timeout called by Ryan Nemitz as they're going to talk things over. But the Explorers on that defensive setup there, because O'Hara has those 4 guys on the perimeter, just put a wall up on that 3-point line. Make O'Hara beat you off the dribble, but you're not going to get beat from deep.
From deep, right.
Timeout on the floor, 32nd timeout. A 4-point lead here for the Explorers is their largest of the game. Good fight here in the second quarter, Chris, as they trailed by 4 points at 1 point here in this quarter. So I don't know if you heard that from the public address announcer there on our telecast, but it was a bench warning on Cardinal O'Hara, and they didn't charge them the timeout, so they have all their timeouts remaining. I'm not sure I understand that, but that's what came right from the mouth of the public address announcer.
And they let them sit down and talk about it?
Well, there was what I thought was 30 seconds. They
Right.
were standing. They did not go to the chairs. Nonetheless, the Explorers now change it up out of that. We'll call it timeout and go to the zone. Good defense there, and Beard comes up with it. So I like that switch up out of, again, I said I thought it was a timeout, but something where Cardinal O'Hara was drawing something up, and just like that, LaSalle says, great. Now you need to prepare for something different. Great cut inside. Titus Beard finishes.
Nice
what a
play.
find.
What a pass from Alan Powell. Explorers have gone on an 8-0 run. Back-to-back threes and a nice layup. Give and go to Titus Beard from Alan Powell.
Here's the 2-3 zone for the Explorers. Skip pass, baseline, three, long. Good rebound inside. Opens up another look from the wing, and that one's good from Ant Purnell.
And there is a situation where they were hurt with an inability to get the rebound. Timby was just oversized.
He was oversized. He actually boxed out well. Sometimes in zones, that's the struggle, figuring out who you're going to pick out versus a man-to-man defense. Blocked there by O'Hara. Out on the run, here they come. Blocked by Alan Powell. Blocked by Titus Beard, and that's called a foul. I don't think so, sitting in our seats up here, but my oh my. And that referee standing on the baseline, Chris. There's a guy right in front to make that
I'm not
play.
sure that was Joe Anholt's call. Marty Jackson let him know that, too.
First free throw is good from Kevin Reeves, the junior guard, averaging 9 points per game, standing at 6'2".
With just a little over 2 minutes remaining in the first half, the Explorers are going to get some height back on the floor as Khalil Diarra re-enters the game.
But what I was saying there, Chris, about the zone is it can be tough as there's another offensive rebound inside and fouled that time by Khalil Diarra, his second personal foul. That wasn't a zone, but offensive rebounds here for Cardinal O'Hara becoming a problem for the Explorers.
They're not boxing out. They're not getting the. O'Hara's getting second chances.
Adrian Irving, the sophomore guard, hits the first. It's now 23-24, and Cardinal O'Hara can tie it with this next free throw. .24 apiece here, Chris. Full court pressure for Cardinal O'Hara. You may remember last year this was a challenging game for the Explorers. They won it late, but this was the start of what we saw from O'Hara a lot last year, which was maybe not quite finishing the job against some of the better teams in the league, but making it tough on a lot of them. Timby no good on that one.
And then the year prior was, I don't know if you remember this game, Bob, at LaSalle.
I remember.
What was his name?
Jalen Peebles, 41 points.
41 points.
That was a school record for Cardinal O'Hara.
And the most points ever put up in LaSalle's gym.
And I believe they won the basketball game, did they not?
They did.
O'Hara, that is. 24 apiece. 1:45 to play in an action-packed back-and-forth first half. Great way to open up Catholic League play. Skip pass. Conrad Kiska inside, double clutched. He's blocked. Out of bounds last touch by Cardinal O'Hara. What a pass, though, by number 22, Khalil Diarra.
As I said earlier, Diarra can pass the ball. He's excellent at finding the open man.
Good switch there by O'Hara. Makes it tough. Great back cut by Khalil Diarra and patience from Jake Timby.
The patience on Jake Timby's part. You could almost see him counting on his own. He knew when the 5 was coming.
We have a whistle, and that clock never started. It was at 1:30. Well, when that possession started, I believe.
It's moving now.
It's moving now. Back to the zone defense for the Explorers. I could be wrong, but I thought I was mentioning earlier that there wasn't much time left in this first half. Nonetheless, what a move inside. Wild shot won't go. Good no call there by the referee. Powell in transition. No good. Could have been a little push there by Kiska. No call. Frere loses his footing. There's a steal. And an offensive foul. That is a tough call. I tell you what, that looks like a block to me or a no call. you wonder if you're Ryan Nemitz, if you're getting on the officials saying, hey, you know that would be Diarra's third foul, and that's why you're not calling it on him.
I don't know Joe Anholt knows that much.
No doubt he went down easy. And
it was
again,
a bit of a flop, I'll give you that, but it was also a bit of a charge.
Yeah, Dinkins didn't really have control of the basketball either, kind of spun out of that.
And see, that's his third.
Inside, strong finish by Conrad Kiska. So that's Dinkins' third, you said. Or you're saying it would have been.
No, number 5. The foul was on 5. Was that Dinkins?
I believe
Dinkins
it was
picked up
Dinkins.
the foul? Okay. I thought number 5 picked up the foul. I thought Hutchinson picked up the foul.
I see. 28-24. 12 seconds left in the half. That's a good look from the outside for 3. It's good. Kevin Reeves hits the 3 again late in a quarter. The Explorers nearly throw it away. Blocked off the hands of Powell, and Kevin Reeves a big last minute. Cut down
O'Hara
to 1.
ended both quarters this half with 3-pointers at the buzzer.
28-27, LaSalle leads in a good one here in Philadelphia Catholic League play. Over Cardinal O'Hara, the Lions. A young team without a lot of size, but boy are they scrappy. Winning the battle on the boards and keeping themselves into this one. Good basketball game here. Bob Long, Chris Carabello, your broadcast team with Mike Gelati on camera.
And the drum corps in the background.
We'll leave you with the sounds of the drum line here at Cardinal O'Hara.
Ford is Mayfair's neighborhood Ford store.
Nobody knows your neighborhood like Dunphy Ford.
Nearly 40 years.
Right here on Frankfurt Avenue.
Generation after generation. Our neighbors continue to be our customers. We have access to the cars and trucks you want with financing you need.
Dunphy Ford is Northeast Philly's first choice for America's #1 brand. 7700 Frankfurt Avenue in Mayfair. Online at www.dunphyford.com.
Come experience the Dunphy difference. You'll be glad you did.
What does your character look like? Does it bounce back after each setback? Does it stand out by standing up? Does it make good on good intentions? Character is invisible until it's not. Only through action will the world know what it's made of, what you're made of. Find out how you can strengthen the character of your community alongside empowered veterans and families of the fallen at travismanion.org.
I would say that LaSalle is dynamic. Prepared. Active. Diverse. Brotherhood. Family.
Ford is Mayfair's neighborhood Ford store.
Nobody knows your neighborhood like Dunphy Ford.
Nearly 40 years.
Right here on Frankfurt Avenue.
Generation after generation, our neighbors continue to be our customers. We have access to the cars and trucks you want with financing you need.
Dunphy Ford is Northeast Philly's first choice for America's #1 brand. 7700 Frankfurt Avenue in Mayfair. Online at www.dunphyford.com.
Come experience the Dunphy difference. You'll be glad you did.
What does your character look like? Does it bounce back after each setback? Does it stand out by standing up? Does it make good on good intentions? Character is invisible until it's not. Only through action will the world know what it's made of, what you're made of. Find out how you can strengthen the character of your community alongside empowered veterans and families of the fallen at travismanion.org.
I would say that LaSalle is dynamic. Prepared. Active. Diverse. Brotherhood. Family.
Ford is Mayfair's neighborhood Ford store.
Nobody knows your neighborhood like Dunphy Ford.
Nearly 40 years.
Right here on Frankfurt Avenue.
Generation after generation, our neighbors continue to be our customers. We have access to the cars and trucks you want with financing you need.
Dunphy Ford is Northeast Philly's first choice for America's #1 brand. 7700 Frankfurt Avenue in Mayfair. Online at www.dunphyford.com.
Come experience the Dunphy difference. You'll be glad you did.
What does your character look like? Does it bounce back after each setback? Does it stand out by standing up? Does it make good on good intentions? Character is invisible until it's not. Only through action will the world know what it's made of, what you're made of. Find out how you can strengthen the character of your community alongside empowered veterans and families of the fallen at travismanion.org.
Welcome back inside Cardinal O'Hara High School. Bob Long, Chris Carabello, excited to be alongside for the Philadelphia Catholic League basketball opener. Chris, quite a game we've had so far here. 28-27, LaSalle with the lead, but we made the comment off air. Second chance points for Cardinal O'Hara, as well as a couple big threes at the respective buzzers, or in the case of the second quarter, about 5 seconds before the end of the half, LaSalle can't get the shot off. And all of a sudden, Cardinal O'Hara's right in this game. They've had leads for large portions of the game. This is exactly what you think about when you think about Catholic League basketball.
And the struggle with the second half points is it's coming from an undersized team. So there's a team on the floor, in LaSalle that's considerable height advantage, and O'Hara's getting a lot of second chance opportunities, 10 to be exact. If you take those 10 points plus the 2 threes that made it at the end of each quarter, 16 points. 16 of the 27 of O'Hara's points come from second chance and the 2 3-pointers at the buzzer.
It's great to see Catholic League basketball back. This game here tonight, followed by Archbishop Ryan at home. That crowd's going to be rocking. Should be a tremendous atmosphere. But 2 really good early tests for this team.
Yeah, and then you know what? Then you have to go to West Catholic on Sunday, which is not an easy place to play. So the Explorers have 3 good ways to start the Catholic League. Challenging teams, great environments, learning the Mike McKee system, the transition from Joe Dempsey to Mike McKee, picking up the different style, but they have to go back to what they do best, pounding the ball inside, allowing Chrysler and Kiska to dominate.
This is LaSalle College High School basketball live on Bob Long Sports, and you can simulcast this on LaSalle_sports on Twitter or on the YouTube channel.
LaSalle will have the ball to start the second half.
Yes, they will. This is the Explorers dressed in the dark blue, moving from left to right. Alan Powell thought about the 3, hesitation dribble, sent inside, and intercepted up the floor is Cardinal O'Hara. Solid, collected finish by Ant Purnell, and it's a 1-point lead for O'Hara.
What started out to be a great pass from Alan Powell turns out to be a turnover and an easy layup for O'Hara. They jump out to a 1-point lead.
That pass from Reeves had some heat on it. It was a nice corral and finish by Purnell at the rim. Too strong there. Bambara out of bounds when he touched the basketball. It will stay right here with the Explorers, 7:21 to play, third quarter.
And not a particularly strong shot from Conrad Kiska. Tried to roll it in.
Kiska spots up for 3. It's good. And the Explorers back on top, a 2-point lead.
And Bob, we alluded to it earlier. This is what happened to the Explorers last year.
It was a tight game all the way to the end.
Up until about 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Floater will go from Adrian Irving. They found the pocket in that zone, and we're tied again at 31. .6:48 to play. Timby to the elbow. And an offensive foul against Zach Chrysler. That's his 3rd personal. Just an arm bar there as he discarded Ant Purnell, the much smaller Purnell at 5'11".
But they called it right away.
First team foul here in the second half for the Explorers. Mike McKee not thrilled with that call. They're going to leave Chrysler out there for the time being to defend with 3 personals. The zone defense may help with his ability to stay clean.
And they have him parked right in the center of the lane.
Bambara, extra pass, Dinkins, an NBA range 3.
And O'Hara back to a 3-point lead, 34-31.
Dinkins can hoist it from anywhere. That one comes from the edge of Delco. Chrysler inside, great pass, up and under, Titus Beard.
Nice give and go, Chrysler to Titus Beard.
And back and forth we go here in the Philadelphia Catholic League opener. A full slate of games across the league. We appreciate you joining us this evening for this telecast. And a giveaway foul from Bambara as Titus Beard corralled the rebound. Nice job by Zach Chrysler there to contest without fouling.
Great way to describe that defense, contest without fouling.
And now that's the third.
Now that's
personal.
his third on Bombara. So now both big men, Chrysler and Bombara, both with 3.
And remember, big man is all relative. Is Bombara listed at 6'6"? I don't think either of us believe that. But beyond that, there's another Lion listed at 6'4", and that's it. Beard gets rid of it. Timby nearly taken away from Diarra. Now Kiska can't finish. No foul call.
A nice pass from Khalil Diarra.
Offensive foul. Khalil Diarra was really deep.
That was the right call. There's no question about that.
The only thing I'd say, Chris, is how deep was he in that lane? I know there isn't a restricted area.
There isn't a restricted area drawn in it. So it's hard for them to make that call without something there.
It's the discretion of the referee at the high school level. So an offensive foul, certainly he had great position. There's no arguing that one. And Dinkins just completely out of control. There's no reason for it. It was 3-on-1. Frere is wide open and hits. And back to a 2-point lead for the Explorers. Another lead change here from Cardinal O'Hara.
And this is where the Explorers need to start to get into their game.
Explorers with that 2-point cushion. Dinkins.
Yeah. Bombara out there with 3 fouls.
Here's Ant Purnell. Dinkins, this is his range. It looks like he's thinking about it every time he catches the ball. Wild pass. That hit the bottom of the backboard. That should have been called out of bounds on Cardinal O'Hara. Explorers in transition. Beard. Wild shot. Won't go. The little man gets the rebound and finishes. Alan Powell.
Alan Powell, what a nice spot. The pass was great. I thought he was going to take the 3-pointer, but he finds the open man in Titus Beard. Can't convert, but he comes back with the offensive rebound, put back.
Timeout call by Nemitz. And as I mentioned, that ball not being called out of bounds by hitting the undercarriage of that backboard led to LaSalle out on the break. They end up getting the offensive rebound with O'Hara slow getting back and finishing, and that was a nice break for the Explorers.
Yeah, I can't imagine the blue padding that runs underneath the backboard is not out of bounds.
38-34, Explorers lead. 4 minutes left here in the third quarter, and we continue to go back and forth.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time out from Cardinal O'Hara, because the first one they gave them a stoppage of play on a bench warning, which I still don't figure out, can't figure out, but
you and me both, my friend. Both teams huddled for a good 30 seconds, and then they didn't charge the timeout.
And the stoppage of play comes after LaSalle gets on a run.
Right.
Certainly odd circumstances.
But yes, 38-34, Explorers lead. A good 5-0 run. Spurt puts them ahead by 2 possessions. And O'Hara, Ryan Nemitz looking for answers here. They've had answers all night long.
It's a key possession for both teams. The Explorers need a big stop here. Playing without Kiska and Chrysler, both sitting on the bench.
Wow, fortunate to get that back. Up and under. How about that finish? Adrian Irving, are you kidding me?
Frere thought about it, had the wide open 3, pulled it back out.
And has a good shot. He hasn't taken a ton of threes, but he's made a lot. And now an offensive foul. If that's Diarra on the discard, it is.
That should be his third.
It is his third. So now Zach Chrysler with 3, Khalil Diarra with 3. Conrad Kiska will check back into the game, replacing Diarra.
Yeah. Assistant coach Bob Zanni is saying, you know, Khalil, you can't do that. Can't move him out like that.
Here's Sean Hutchinson. Bambara drives inside. Skip pass for Hutchinson. Pulls up from deep and hits. And a 5-0 spurt from O'Hara. You guessed it. another lead change here. They lead by 1 with 3 minutes left, and we continue to battle here from O'Hara.
Explorers just can't pull away. They get up 4.
In and out that time. Rebound down to Brown, and Titus Beard is in there for the finish.
Nice look from Sam Brown. Pulls down the rebound, sees a wide open Titus Beard for an easy layup.
Yep, and Solo Bambara is going to be kicking himself there. He had 2 hands on that one and let it go. Back to a 1-point lead for the Explorers. Possession maintained, and a kick ball will keep it here. Could have been a travel, wasn't called.
Yeah.
And then the kick is actually quite fortunate for Cardinal O'Hara.
Yes. Mike McKee wanted to travel there.
Cardinal O'Hara is going to have to inbound from underneath their own offensive hoop. The referee over there isn't sure what McKee's talking about. He says, how's that not a travel? And he said it was a kick ball. What McKee is arguing about is far before there was a kick.
Well, the other thing is,
good reason.
The other thing is, if it's a kick ball, why do they inbound from underneath? And I think that's what the argument was.
Sure.
A kick ball at the top of the key doesn't get you the ball underneath the basket.
Patience here from O'Hara. And that's off the foot of Titus Beard. Wild shot off the glass, won't go. Here come LaSalle. They might have numbers if they run. And Irving's able to get back into the play. Make that Dinkins, I should say.
Explorers wisely pull back. 1-point lead.
Frere had that 3 if he wanted it. Now Kiska at the top of the key with a $1:40 to go. Man-to-man defense here for O'Hara. A hand check called against Ant Purnell. That'll be Cardinal O'Hara's 3rd team foul here of the second half. The 2nd personally on Ant Purnell. Substitution for the Lions, number 4, Momo Court 2, number 10, Kevin Reeves, check in, replacing number 3, Trey Dinkins, and number 32. Momo Court 2 comes into the game, as well as Kevin Reeves, the junior. 90 seconds left in this third quarter, I should say, the first portion of the second half. A 1-point lead for LaSalle. Over the top, Conrad Kiska fouled on his way up. Jameel Burton on the weak side help and got him across the wrist.
Mike McKee's going to put Zach Chrysler back in the game. A Cardinal O'Hara bench arguing that foul took place on the ground, but no.
Kiska was going up.
Clearly was going up. Where the ball was is irrelevant. He was going up with the shot.
And that's the thing there about a play like that. Conrad Kiska, he's played in the post enough at this level that he knows if there's a lob over the top, you know you're going up with one hand, but you got to get that second hand in there quickly and secure the basketball because you know that there's going to be weak side help, especially with an undersized defense like this. Did a great job to secure that basketball and then take the contact. Three-point lead for LaSalle. They'll go into the zone defense right up to the midcourt stripe. Baseline. Here's the look for 3. It's good from the lefty, Kevin Reeves. Tied again.
Wide open 3.
That's how you beat the zone. Get the ball to the middle, make guys collapse. That's what Core 2 did and had great vision up the floor to find Reeves. Now under a minute to go, 49 seconds to be exact. LaSalle's going to have patience. They've seen Cardinal O'Hara hit enough shots at the horn. Now Brown to the cup, counted and one.
Count the basket. What a strong move from the freshman.
They spread out the defense. They got Brown on the way to the cup. Nice job to recognize that that floor was open and help wasn't coming.
Chrysler takes a seat. Diarra comes back in. Both players with 3 fouls, but at this point, Diarra can give them a little more athletically on defense.
And not just that, I think there's an offense-defense component to that as well as Brown hits the free throw and gives LaSalle the 3-point cushion. That if somebody's going to get their 4th, You don't want that to be Chrysler with a full 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, they're playing man-to-man.
Hutchinson nearly loses the ball. Here's a dive to the cup. That's a block. Oh, and travel comes first. I don't agree with that one.
You know what, Bob? The argument there can be whether it's a charge or it's a block, but he didn't have control. No one on the court at any point had control. The ball popped loose out here outside the paint. He never had a strong hand on it when he was taking it to the hole.
Sure.
I think you can't call a player control foul, or can you call a block if the player doesn't have control?
Yeah, you also can't call travel if he doesn't have control of the ball.
That's a good point.
Kiska for three. That one's good. Right at the buzzer. And that's a big one for LaSalle. That's a 5-point swing there that goes from what was a block, overruled to a travel. Kiska comes the other way, hits the three at the horn, and LaSalle leads by 6. That's enormous.
And there's a turnabout's fair play type situation. The first 2 quarters end with 3-pointers from Cardinal O'Hara. Third quarter ends with one from the Explorers.
A live look inside the huddle here for LaSalle. Look at Mike McKee, the first-year head coach for LaSalle, dressed in the gray, having a conversation with his guys at the time at the third quarter break. If you're McKee, what are you saying? What have you taken away from the first 24 minutes of basketball?
I think you have to be saying a couple things. First of all, and it's something the Explorers did fairly well in that corner, no second chance points. They really significantly reduced the number of second chance points that Cardinal O'Hara had. Second of all, defend the perimeter. They did a nice job, particularly on the last 2 series, with keeping the man-to-man, not letting a guy get free. Actually, two situations where O'Hara tended to play out of control. The third thing is to play their game.
Just do what's gotten you here. Well, I think
mistaken, this is the largest lead for the Explorers, 6.
I think that's about correct, yes.
They had gone on an 8-0 run at one point, which I think put them up 6. So ties their biggest lead.
Cardinal O'Hara will get the basketball to start the 4th and final quarter of regulation. Explorers are in the man. For your O'Hara, you got to be certainly careful here not to rush anything. You have a lot of time. That's a good look. Core 2, well short. Rebound down to Conrad Kiska. A good look, but probably one LaSalle will take. Core 2, not the most precise three-point shooter that O'Hara has. Powell comes off the ball screen all the way to the hoop, and he rolls it around and down.
Nice play by Alan Powell. 8-point lead for the Explorers.
Core 2 spins on Diarra. Diarra with 3 fouls. Drive to the cup. Offensive foul as Conrad Kiska stands in and takes it. Jameel Burton way out of control, left his feet, and a good call by the referee.
That was a good call.
6th team foul against Cardinal O'Hara. So with the next foul, LaSalle will go to the line to shoot 1-1 unless it's of the offensive variety on the Lions.
And I think that's an important thing because it'll get the Explorers to the line. The clock's already their friend. Now the free throw line becomes their friend.
LaSalle with just the 2 team fouls here in the second half, which certainly helps because LaSalle had a couple of guys in foul trouble at the end of the first half. One of those fouls in the second half was charged against, Zach Chrysler, who sits on the bench with the 4 fouls. Sam Brown adjusts in midair, can't hit it.
Hey, switches hands there.
Euro step, and it won't go. Trey Dinkins will go to the line to shoot 2. Good body control that time from the junior.
As you said, the Euro step. Very close to a walk.
6:34 to play, final quarter. Dinkins with 2 at the charity stripe. All in all, Dinkins has had a nice game here tonight. I'm impressed by his game, and he's got limitless range.
I think the shot that I think will stick out in our mind all game is where he held the ball for a full 30 seconds at the end of the first quarter and then drained a beautiful 3.
Little step back, shake, and then rise and fire. Now a quick stoppage here as number 10, Kevin Reeves, has to lace him up. An untied shoelace. So it gives O'Hara a little bit of time to set up the full court pressure. Kiska brings it right by Reeves. Great move. Now the Explorers can afford to have a little bit of patience here, Chris.
Yeah, 6-point lead. Just over 6 minutes to play.
Don't leave what got you here. Maintain the aggressiveness, but you can be patient about when you go into your offensive set. Back cut for Khalil Diarra, had trouble with the catch.
Yeah, I don't think he saw that coming. It's usually Khalil Diarra that throws the nice passes. He got a great pass there from Conrad Kiska. He just wasn't ready for it.
Titus Beard in no particular hurry, and it's Jake Timby to take it up near the logo. Could have been a hand check there, certainly against Reeves.
Which would have put Kiska on the line, not something that would be very prudent on the part of Cardinal O'Hara. Again, it's another
They went for
very
the
close.
steal.
Went for the steal.
LaSalle's holding the basketball. Powell to the lane. What a move.
Just a scoop. Went right by him, scooped it in. Almost made it look too easy.
Certainly we knew pretty early on he got a lot of playing time his sophomore year, even a little bit his freshman year. The next in line of the great LaSalle high school guards. Big 3 from Sean Hutchinson. Cuts it back to 5 with 5:12 to play.
Yeah.
And that is a big-time answer.
And this is exactly what we talked about at the start of the game, that the Explorers were going to have to defend. They were going to have to defend the 3-point shooting of Cardinal O'Hara, which is not something they did a lot of early in the game, but they have now here on 2 successive possessions.
This is LaSalle College High School basketball live on Bob Long Sports, simulcast on LaSalle_sports on Twitter. Also live on our YouTube page, just search Bob Long Sports. And these games will be archived after the fact as well. Bob Long, Chris Carabello. We have Mike Gelati doing a great job on camera here tonight, and this all brought to you by our partners at Dunphy Ford in the Northeast. 7700 Frankfurt Avenue, DunphyFord.com. Full court pressure here from O'Hara. They're going to go for the steal here, Chris. Could be an opportunity for the Explorers, if they choose, to get something easy on the break.
And I think that's exactly what the Explorers have dialed up.
Trouble getting it in. Kiska is the safety blanket, and here's that run out. Powell inside, can't finish, tipped up and in by Titus Beard.
I thought Powell was fouled there, but weren't going to get that call.
He also, to some extent, ran into Khalil Diarra. How about that 3? Right over the top by Kevin Reeves. And it's back to 4. This team won't go away, Chris.
And we talked about this as well, too, that we can trade 2-point baskets and give them a 3.
What O'Hara really needs, though, is a stop, and they've been unable to get it. Credit LaSalle offensively. Alan Powell will slow things up. I think he said, you know what, a few too many cross-court passes for my liking. Let's get the offense started.
Remember, Cardinal O'Hara, 16 fouls. Next foul will put the Explorers on the line, 1-1.
4:05 to go. 4-point lead for LaSalle. They're in no hurry. Back cut, Titus Beard. This is impressive by LaSalle. Might be forcing Cardinal O'Hara's hand at some point. Won't be for a long while now. Back cut, Powell inside. Finish. Good pass by Conrad Kiskin. A great job with that dribble drive there, Chris, to bring that second defender on. Here's an open three for Dinkins. That one won't go.
Second chance opportunity.
Inside, won't go. And Adrian Irving will shoot 2 at the line. Timby, now he had possession. That was called a block. Perhaps they called that one being too deep. And I think there's an inconsistency in the calls we've seen here tonight with regard to the block charge.
I agree with you on that one. I thought that certainly could have been a charge.
Irving hits the first. Break free throw here for Irving. And he matches the Explorer 2 on the other end. 3:27 to play. It's a 4-point lead for the Explorers. LaSalle dressed in the dark blue, moving from left to right, and fouled.
And there's number 7.
So Titus Beard will go to the line to shoot 1 and 1. And Chris, you've been doing this with me long enough. You know what I say. Games are won and lost at the front end. And these next 3 opportunities for LaSalle, presumably with the front end plus the bonus, unless one of those fouls comes in the act of shooting, they're going to be important for LaSalle to hit this first free throw to earn a second. That one goes from Titus Beard, gives LaSalle a 5-point lead. Second one goes as well. Beard does his job, puts the Explorers back up 6.
Explorers apply a little pressure.
Dinkins working with Reeves, and they're across the timeline. Explorers back into this zone. And it's thrown through the legs of Reeves. That's backcourt and Explorer basketball.
That was a big turnover. Explorers can capitalize here. It'd be a big opportunity.
I know we've talked a lot about it being the opening night of Philadelphia Catholic League play, but don't forget, neither of these teams have experienced a loss yet this year. Timeout called by Cardinal O'Hara, and they're trying to keep their unblemished streak on the line. LaSalle trying to protect this 6-point lead with 3:07 to play and earn their first Philadelphia Catholic League victory of the season.
Yeah, third timeout from Cardinal O'Hara. They have 2 remaining.
So if you're Mike McKee, what are you drawing up right now in the huddle, Chris?
I think you're certainly going to take a little time off the clock. I like what they did earlier where they moved the ball around, found the back door open, maybe Kiske at the top of the key or at the foul line, extended a little bit, and someone cut into the basket, catching Cardinal O'Hara off guard.
Chris, this fourth quarter has been a thing of beauty from Mike McKee and the LaSalle Explorers. Unless I'm missing a shot or two at the very onset of this 8-minute period, at least since 6 minutes left in this basketball game, LaSalle has not come away with an empty trip. And they've taken off this 4 or so minutes off the clock in that time frame. It's been an exquisite, textbook offensive set and set of possessions. 4 or 5 possessions in a row, LaSalle's taken off that 4 minutes and has not come away empty-handed once.
Yeah, certainly not 4 to score, but something very old school like that.
Timby is deep, and we're back underway with 3:05 to play. Bob Long, Chris Carabello. We got Mike Gelati on the camera. Back cut, Titus Beard, and a foul called against number 10, Kevin Reeves. And that one, it's you got to take that chance.
You got to take the chance on the steal.
You're just a half second late.
Risk reward.
Just a half second late there. Zach Chrysler back into the game with the 4 fouls. Front end of the 1-and-1 for Titus Beard. And hits the first one. dynamite so far from the line for Titus Beard. We talked about it at Constitution. No surprise. He's got that high arc, gives it a chance every time. A really good release for Titus Beard.
Gets it over the front of the rim.
And hits them both.
8-point lead for the Explorers, 60-52. Again, they continue to put the pressure.
I like this look.
Yeah, not making it easy for Cardinal O'Hara to get up the front.
Inside for Bambara. They throw it right through his legs. That's the second consecutive possession they've done that.
He walked first, so they were turning the ball over either way.
Now LaSalle firmly in control. Still one more foul to come in the single bonus. Kiska comes up to catch it, and now O'Hara's got to make a decision. When do you bring a double team? When do you start fouling? Timby had trouble with the catch. They're asking for a double dribble. He never put the ball on the ground.
Ball on the ground
he
first.
just didn't control it. That's why the ball hit the ground. There's a foul. Alan Powell will shoot 1 plus the bonus.
Yeah, people think just because the ball hits the ground that it's a double dribble. You have to put the ball on the ground.
Powell, another nice game here tonight, and shown his ability to get to the rim and finish. Powell calmly hits the first. Powell second, in and out, rebound pulled down by Bambara. 9-point lead for LaSalle. And out of control inside, fortunate, but didn't finish. Up and no good. He's fouled by Conrad Kiska. Adrian Irving will shoot 2 at the line. If you're Ryan Nemitz, the head coach of Cardinal O'Hara, you're telling Irving, settle it down. He was way out of control there, and frankly, like I said, was fortunate to have this opportunity.
Chance, yeah.
Can't get it over the front rim, and with 2:08 to play, LaSalle retains that 9-point lead.
Mike McKee not liking what he saw defensively out of Manny Freire.
One of 2 for Adrian Irving.
8-point lead for the Explorers.
Diarra with the catch. Good pull there. Here comes Alan Powell across the timeline.
He's going to take his time unless fouled.
Next foul will put LaSalle in the double bonus. Timby, probably not the guy you want to foul. Neither is Alan Powell.
Or Titus Beard. That's the guy you want to foul.
And Jake Timby will go to the line, fouled by Trey Dinkins. Trey Dinkins' 3rd personal foul and the team's 10th.
So Jake Timby will get 2 from the line as O'Hara's in the double bonus. Should I say LaSalle's in the double bonus?
Timby's first up and good. So it looks like LaSalle, barring some turnovers, on their way to their first Catholic League win in a game that bears resemblance a lot to the way
last year.
This game went right here last year.
We sat and watched from the same vantage point, called many of the same plays.
As you mentioned, a vantage point that is about as good as there is in Philadelphia Catholic League basketball. A joy to call a game here, and a great vantage point for Mike to operate the camera. It's just a great facility.
You know what? I want to give a shout out to the O'Hara people too. Not only do I think they have what's probably the nicest gym in the Archdiocese, but the people are a real pleasure to work with.
Spinning inside, out of control. Blocking foul called against Khalil Diarra.
That was a good call.
Yeah. If you're Diarra, you probably just didn't need that. Back away and let him spin himself into oblivion there. That's the
he wasn't getting
personal.
off a shot. He wasn't. I mean, he was so out of control. But Khalil Diarra clearly wasn't there.
And that's his 4th personal. Team 6th. Zach Chrysler will come into the game, as will Jake Timby, Manny Frere, and Khalil Diarra come out. LaSalle going with a little offense-defense here.
You have to like the aggressiveness of the Explorers and at least trying to get these offensive fouls.
Completely agree. They've done a really nice job defensively all night, and Titus Beard, good recognition that he had the timeout.
And he knew that in the huddle. He knew that going into it, that he had the timeout to take.
Full timeout on the floor now, recognized with that timeout after, it was originally after the made basket or the free throw. Beard had the opportunity to run the baseline. After the timeout, he will not have that ability.
I like what Mike McKee does here. He has a purpose. Calls a timeout because he can't inbound a ball. First thing he does, goes over, make sure the other team knows it's a full timeout. Next thing he does is he's drawing up a play to get that ball inbounds. And I have a sense that not only is he drawing up a play to get the ball inbounds, but then what to do when they get it across half court.
One thing this LaSalle team does very well against the full court pressure is you have the guards cutting close to the baseline to either a corner or across the lane. And it's patience. It's patience to have, whether it's Khalil Diarra or whether it's the big man, Conrad Kiska, Zach Chrysler. You have them wait about a second and a half, then flash from about midcourt up to the top of the key. It provides that safety valve, and you don't have too many guys moving all at once. And I think that safety valve is something that's going to be an option here for LaSalle. See Kiska setting up right at the top of the key. Chrysler is off camera up to the top, up right near the center court. And now there's Zach Chrysler setting the screen and becoming that safety valve. Great inbounds play, but now given away and right out of bounds.
It's a shame. That was an ill-advised pass from Zach Chrysler. Conrad Kiska was not open.
Also,
so now
one
the Explorers
there
don't have the option to pass it. No. Yep, it's a turnover. Yep, it's a travel. Yep.
And now Mike McKee wants a timeout to talk about it. You were right on the money there, Chris.
I said they don't have the option to pass it in bounds.
And that's a learning opportunity for this LaSalle team. In the midst of that learning opportunity, it's O'Hara basketball. 1:14 to play, down by 8, and a team that can go off.
And I think that's something that's new to the system. I think that's part of the new, that's one of the things new to the Mike McKee system is that a lot of the inbounds after a basket, they throw the ball to someone out of bounds and then make the pass and play. I think they've gotten used to that, and I think that's good, but one of the things is you have to know the rules there. If it's not after a completed basket, you can't run the baseline. You can't move and you can't throw the ball to someone out of bounds.
Now, what was interesting that I had called after they called that first timeout, they still were able to do that legally. At the college level, that's not the case, right? If you call a timeout there, now you no longer have that opportunity.
In college, but in high school you can, yes.
Now, that's something that I found out right now. Shout out to the Villanova pep band that plays this song in percussion form at all their home basketball games. Can't tell you what the name of the song is. Might be dating me slightly.
It's a Paul Simon song, I can tell you that.
Ah, yes, yes. Inbounded over the top. Ant Purnell with the basketball. Dinkins, he's been their best three-point shooter, and he hits it again. Back to a 5-point game. Big time.
He hit that from Route 1.
The junior guard averaging 15 a game just continues to throw it in there, hoisting it. And we got ourselves a ball game here,
yeah,
Chris.
we do. A 2-possession game with minute 7 to play.
30-second timeout. LaSalle now, as we determined, going to have the opportunity to run the baseline here if they choose.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Cardinal O'Hara can stop the ball one more time. Can stop the clock one more time. I think they have 4 timeouts.
4 timeouts taken, right?
I still think they don't have any because I'm still questioning that that early.
I'm right there with you. Could provide a little bit of an impact on this game, having that extra timeout. Explorers dressed in the dark blue. Lead by 5, 1:07 to go. Cardinal O'Hara trying to deny the inbound, then get a quick double team, and if all else fails, then foul. Kiska in the corner, and he throws it away. Too high and too hard for Khalil Diarra.
It's a good play, but...
And that's great recognition there by O'Hara not to foul, to go for that first steal. And then if LaSalle gets it across the timeline, then you have to foul.
And to not foul Kiska.
Who's it going to be for O'Hara? They trail by 5.
They have Frere on Dinkins.
Dinkins, no good. Rebound, Conrad Kiska, and he is fouled. You felt a collective gasp from the LaSalle fan base as Dinkins rose up and lifted that shot. But that one never really had a chance.
It's a good look, but he wasn't set the right way.
Not that that mattered on the last shot he hit.
No.
He is impressive. But that one went begging. Conrad Kiska.
On a rare miss.
Now LaSalle cannot extend this to a 3-possession game with the next free throw. It's a 5-point lead. O'Hara's going to get the ball back, barring an offensive rebound. Down 2 possessions, no more. Second one goes, 64-58, LaSalle, a 6-point lead. And if you're O'Hara here, if the 2 is given to you, maybe, but I think you got to go for a 3. That's an ill-advised pass, and LaSalle's going to come up with it. Up the floor, Manny Frere. He'll lay it in, and LaSalle leads by 8. Great play by the LaSalle offense. That one's good off the glass from Adrian Irving.
Timeout O'Hara, and that's their last timeout.
Full timeout on the floor. LaSalle a 6-point lead, 23.7 seconds to go. And now it's simple. Just get the ball in bounds. Cardinal O'Hara's going to have to foul nearly right away because you can't spend much time worrying about it. If LaSalle has trouble getting it across half court, it almost doesn't matter. 10 seconds in the backcourt gets you down to 13 seconds. That ball game's just about over.
And I think he's telling them that they can't let him get the ball across.
You almost got to foul the first guy that catches the ball.
Surprisingly, it looks like Diarra is in the game.
It does look that way.
Unless he feels at this point that Diarra would be a better foul shooter than Chrysler.
Yeah, Chrysler has certainly had a lot of foul trouble here today, but even in this late fourth quarter, you haven't seen much of Zach Chrysler. Averaging 10.5 points a game on the front court for LaSalle. But Diarra's had a very nice game. He's stuck his nose in there a bunch, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball.
Now, if I'm Cardinal O'Hara, I let Khalil Diarra come up and get this ball.
Alan Powell with it. They double him, and that referee made that call instinctually on an assumption that contact was going to be made. That arm was raised well before the whistle.
Although they were fouling Alan Powell no matter what, as you
Certainly.
said, Bob, they certainly can't let him let the Explorers use 10 seconds to get the ball up.
Just
half court.
acknowledging that arm was raised a little bit early.
I agree.
That's a huge free throw. Gets LaSalle a 2-possession lead, 67-60.
3-possession lead.
Or 3, excuse me, from 2 to 3, as you mentioned. 68-60. You talk for an hour and a half straight, you're bound to get something wrong. Adrian Irving will shoot 2 at the line.
Now, talking to Mike McKee before the game, I didn't want to say anything early in the first quarter, but the way the score looks pretty safe to say. Mike McKee says that this is the only court in his Catholic League history that he ever lost a game.
What?
So as a varsity starter for Roman Catholic, he only ever lost once, and it was on this court.
Guess that was a decent team he was on, huh?
They were pretty good.
Wow.
Likes to win.
I don't think you're going to see that anytime soon in the Catholic League. It is so balanced and so talented from so many teams. I don't know if you're going to see a team go 2-3 years without losing a game, or 1. Here's a giveaway. Dinkins gets a good look. In and out. Rebound Diarra, and he is fouled with 5 seconds left. That would have cut it to 1 possession. We had a great,
can all but put this away.
we had a great angle here. So did our viewers of Dinkins. As soon as that ball left his hand, he started jumping and asking that ball to go. He's such a good shooter that he knew that was going to come up just a little bit short.
Just needed a little bit.
Diarra to put this one away, and does. 3-possession lead, 69-62. Khalil Diarra hits 2, 70-62. They're going to let him go, and that's your ball game.
They are not going to inbound the ball now.
70-64, LaSalle gets their first Philadelphia Catholic League win of the year, and they had to fight to get it. Cardinal O'Hara, a team that gave a lot of effort and fight. We went back and forth all night. Here and learned a little bit about the resolve of this LaSalle team to stay in it when they trailed at times even into the third quarter, and they really took control here in the fourth.
They needed 70. Explorers needed to score 70 points to win. They needed all 70 of those points.
And there's a part of me that really likes this Cardinal O'Hara team too. They fight really, really hard. And we mentioned a little bit earlier in the game, they didn't quite get the wins last year, but they fought hard in just about every game. They had a huge win against St. Joseph's Prep last year, something that was a surprise. And this team's going to surprise people this year too.
They absolutely are, particularly on this court. This is a place where they can shoot well.
But for LaSalle, a strong win. They remain unbeaten. 5-0 they go. Alan Powell looks like the real deal in the Philadelphia Catholic League, one of the great guards that this league has to offer this year.
Absolutely. And Kiska and Chrysler have nice games. Kiska had a little better of a game. Chrysler gets in a little bit of a foul trouble. And Khalil Diarra, a nice job off the bench. And Titus Beard, just another steady, strong game from the other guard.
I really thought a great effort from this LaSalle team. Chris, great doing the game with you again as always. We mentioned a great venue for it. Thank you very much to the hospitality for all the folks here at Cardinal O'Hara High School. And for LaSalle, they improved to 5-0. A great start to the year. Again, a brand new coach coming in, a little bit of a different system. These players reacting well, playing well so far here this year. Next up, it's a challenge. Joe Zaglinski and the Archbishop Ryan Raiders, a team that this has become a really nice rivalry over the last few years.
It has been. And certainly playing them at home, LaSalle's going to have a little bit of an advantage, but you're looking to look at an athletic team. You're going to look at a team with size. And it's going to be a challenge for the Explorers. So look for a dogfight on Friday night.
We'll be there. It's a 7 o'clock start. against Archbishop Ryan. Stay tuned into @BobLongSports on Twitter, @LaSalle_sports on Twitter for more programming updates. You can catch all the highlights and replays of these games on BobLongSports.com on our YouTube page. And Chris, enjoyed it. A lot of fun here tonight.
Thanks, Bob. I enjoyed it as well.
Yes, sir. For Chris Carabello and for our camera person, Mike did a great job here tonight. Mike Gelati back behind the camera. I'm Bob Long saying so long here from Cardinal O'Hara. Join us again on Friday evening from LaSalle High School as the Explorers take on Archbishop Ryan in another Philadelphia Catholic League bout. And until then, take care and good night.